Yeah.
Deion okay?
I was about to say the same thing. Deion look a little lean, man. That look like that kind of Chadwick type deal.
Chill. Come on now. We can't.
I'm
That's what
I'm
I'm saying.
just I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. Yeah, it does look. It
Look how
does.
lean he is,
He looks
dog.
super lean
Yeah.
in the neck and in the face area.
Dion speaks up about Shedeur and all the negativity that kind of happened around his pre-draft visits and a lot of what they're calling lies that are coming out. Coming. I think there were things that said that there was things that we didn't even know. They said like he came into a room with like his headphones on and then like didn't even like all kind of crazy stuff. So this is the first time I'm seeing this. This is Dion actually making his, I guess, his first comments about that on the Asante Samuel podcast.
Rumors about the next level, and I can't see that. I
Yeah.
can't see the next level. And I think a couple people who may have taken shots at my
How's that?
kids, they were afraid that I would go. That's what.
Yeah,
Deion okay?
I was about to say the same thing. Dion look a little lean, man. That look like that kind of Chadwick type deal.
Chill. Come on now. We can't.
I'm
That's what
I'm
I'm saying.
just I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. Yeah, it does look. It does. It
Look how
does.
lean he is,
He looks
dog.
super lean
Yeah.
in the neck and in the face area.
Oh yes. Yeah. He's skinnier than Asante. Look
Wow.
at his cheekbones.
I mean, let's see. I hope everything's. Deion's one of those people. I'm sure will keep things close. So hopefully
For
everything's
sure.
okay. I mean, maybe he just change the diet or whatever like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
He
it was no.
definitely
I'm not trying to wish nothing on nobody. Of course not. I would
for
never,
sure.
try to do that. But I'm just saying, like, that's kind of how Chadwick was, right? Chadwick, nobody knew that he had
Hmm.
something. You know what I mean? And then, then when you look back now, you see where he was with Black Panther, and then I forget the war movie he did, but you see how
Yeah.
skinny he was over
Yep.
that time. You really didn't even notice. But that's a good call out. Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
The shots came from. All you got to do is just sit back and listen. People don't want to do that. They want to create these narratives and create these stories and then attach them to a kid that ain't never done nothing wrong.
Yeah. How does that make you feel when you see your
Oh,
colleagues or your
man.
peers going in on you, man? Like, how does that make you feel?
No idea, man. You have no idea. We've always been in front of the camera, so they know how to navigate. They know how to handle themselves.
Yeah.
And you're not gonna catch them in no foolery and no mess. You're not when you sit up there and say something like he went in a meeting unprepared, like, dude, Shedeur Sanders, who's had 6 different coordinators, who has still functioned and went up, leveled up every time we brought somebody new in, and you're gonna tell me he was
Every situation.
you're gonna tell me he had on headphones.
So you a dog, your kid's a dog, and dogs gonna always rise to the top. You know what I mean?
There you
That's
go.
what I believe. You know what I mean?
But
Then
you
we
did.
talking about
It did hurt. The Bible says God uses the foolish things to confound the wise. So it was some foolish stuff that went on, but you know what? That gave them something that they needed. I know it was a lot of.
So what you think about that, man? I mean, obviously it's his son. He's obviously going to say all the right things. He's not going to bash his son. But what do you think on, Dion finally kind of speaking up about what's going on with, the whole Shedeur pre-draft visits and all that, and obviously where there's smoke, there's fire. It wasn't just what's the boy name from New York head coach? I'm thinking Tibbs.
Dabo.
Yeah, Dable. Might have just not just been him. I mean, the reason why he dropped the 5, right? I don't know, man. What you kind of thinking? I don't know if I even understand why he even had that kind of comment about he had 6 different coordinators. I don't know if that really means anything in terms of being prepared for uh, you know
Yeah. I
a
mean, I kind of get what he's trying to say, but then I also heard the most important part, and he said it hurt, right? And it hurt because you're a part of the reason why he dropped to the 5th round,
mm,
and but then you're also throwing in the layers of excuses, and you're throwing in the ultimate excuses like God doesn't have no mistakes and blah. It's gonna. And listen, I know he's a God fearing person, very spiritual, and we can use that as leverage and motivation, that all that stuff. But at the end, if we're not reflecting and looking in the mirror, how do we get better, right? So if you're giving a person 1,000 excuses for things they've done wrong or
Hmm.
maybe not the right way, they'll never learn from that, and they'll just use those excuses as, oh, it's not my fault. You didn't just fall to the fifth round for no reason. There is a reason by it. Now, whether
Facts.
it's the NFL was just trying to
I
make
do think
you
they got blackballed.
they
That's
might,
me.
and maybe,
Yeah.
well, blackball, he wouldn't be in the league, but as far as teach a lesson, but a lesson of what, though? Why? Right? And a lot of it is maybe because your presentation seemed to be a little bigger than the game. And we know the NFL is easy to make sure they're going to humble you really quickly.
Hmm.
And just so having your first test was your draft day, unfortunately, because you did not deserve to be a fifth round pick.
I agree.
You were definitely a first round or no less than a second round draft pick. And they may have made an example out of you. And it's because the way that you carry yourself. Not, it doesn't have to be always some a bad thing, like he's a drug dealer, he did this, he has all this rap sheet. Sometimes it's just about the image that you're portraying, and some
Hmm.
coaches and teams don't want to deal with that because it might be too much when all we try and do is win football games and focus on football games, and I might have to worry about your brand and the cameras you're going to come in with, your head coach that's this guy that's doing really well for himself. Outside of that, I can't. I want to focus on just winning football games, and I don't want to put a lot of attention on myself when I'm trying to build something. So that's
Right.
why you got a
Right.
lot of teams that skipped. I believe that skipped on him. They weighed the good versus the bad, and they're just sacrificing, saying that, hey, it ain't worth it. It wasn't worth it.
Yeah, it's really hard to say. I mean, it's because he's got to wear multiple hats, right? And the biggest hat he has to wear is being a father.
Yeah,
And what I mean, so anybody who talks ill about your blood, especially your legacy that you're leaving. Anybody who talks bad about anything that has to do with your last name being connected to it, you're going to get defensive and you're going to talk out against that. I mean, he took the high road, right? As Dion always does. He doesn't feed in too much into the bullshit, but like you said, it hurt him. And he thought he put his son in the best position and it looked like he didn't. And he hurt his son. He's hurt the stock value of his son. I mean, I don't think it was all him, but he was a part of the
definitely
equation.
for sure.
You know what I mean? All the stuff coming out. We only go into certain teams. Was that the right way to go about that? You know,
But
um,
even to add, like, you don't, then that's where it needs to stay, right? Like, easy and like you at this point, I should not be talking about my son right now. You can. I know it's your dad, but you have a platform. You're always on a platform. People want to hear what you got to say, Dion. You are a polarizing human being on a planet. One of the best athletes to ever play sports in
mhm.
all of sports. You are a two-time athlete at great at both sports. Like, you are another tier of athlete.
Yep.
You're going to always have a mic in your face. And then sometimes at this point, if I was him, I would say nothing. I would say the situation hurt me,
Hmm.
and I'm going to watch my son do the best he can do in the situation he's going to do. And I have every confidence that he will do that. Whatever happened during draft day or in the past, it's over. We've moved forward, and we're working on being the best player we can be as a Cleveland Brown. And that's how I would change my whole narrative toward bettering and kind of stepping away from Shedeur so he can kind of do his own thing. That's another issue. You still are latched to him. You still are, what I mean, there's teams that want to see who is Shedeur Sanders, not Shedeur Deion Sanders. They want to know who's this individual without his father. And if you're always going to be, helping him out, pulling him in, is, I don't know. Sometimes it can hurt, and that's just my opinion. I know
Yeah, it's hard as a father though.
it's hard as a father,
It's
but
a
he
hard.
got.
It's hard as a father. So
If you're playing in the
I,
background, you're good, right? You can do all that if you're playing in the background,
yeah,
and he can play in the background. Just don't answer the questions in the media. Just stay away. Let him answer his own questions.
yeah. And sometimes they come to him though with it. You know what I mean? And that's going to be like if
That'd be
Shador,
me. Hey, we moving forward. We moving
yeah,
forward. That's it. We moving forward. I have all the confidence in the world. Shador will be a great athlete for the Cleveland Browns. He's going to
yeah.
help that team, and that's all I would say. That's how I'll leave it. I would let that go. That's what I would do.
Yeah, yeah. No, I feel you. I think I was well said. I kind of already said my two piece on it, so I like it.
I just hope he's healthy though. It doesn't look that
Yeah,
was
no,
a
yeah,
bad
yeah,
angle or
yeah,
something like that. Hope he's healthy.
yeah.
He looks a little thinner, like you
Thin,
said, real
for
lean.
sure,
It
for
might be
sure.
it might be for health reasons why he got lean. You know,
Yeah,
never know.